Hello everyone and welcome to the fourth and final round at the 2022 Throw Pink Women's Disc Golf Championships. We're here for our FPO lead card and we are prepared for battle. Well, our competitors have a taller task on their hands. We'll see who can come out on top. I am Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, joined alongside Kristin Jennings, and a fourth round at Winthrop. That sounds daunting.
Hopefully the wind is a little less than it was in the third round, and I'm excited to see who gets crowned champion. Hole 1, par 3, 283 feet. A pretty daunting hole with the double mando that you have to hit right off the bat. The hole slopes from left to right just a little bit, and you're trying to throw something slow like a putter or mid-range. Just gently glide it straight down the middle.
Welcome to the lead card for the final round of the 2022 Throw Pink Women's Disc Golf Championship. Two-time women's world champion from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Please welcome Catrina Allen.
And like round number 3, we actually see a few extra layers to get the day started. Things have cooled off just a little bit in these last few days.
Oh, and a very steep hyzer from Catrina. A hyzer flip's a good thought, but that was a little much angle. But she did make the mando.
2022 Women's World Champion from Parnu, Estonia. Please welcome Kristin Tattar.
So good to see Kristin worked her way back up to the lead card after the first round. That's looking good.
Yeah, but to work herself into a hole-in-one just deep of the basket. She'll be at about 29 feet.
Oh, and Henna misses the mando left.
2012 Women's World Champion from Caldwell, Idaho. Please welcome Sarah Hokom.
Forehand super tricky on this hole since the hill slopes off the same way as a forehand would. Just a little low for Sarah. Stops right at the log.
And with the missed mando, the pressure only ramps up here as Henna now has to re-tee. And that is missed again, I believe.
If she's throwing from here, I believe she did make the mando, but she did pull it significantly off to the right. It's not the start that Henna was looking for.
It'll be touchy with this approach because, as you said, it slopes away and she carries just deep of the basket, but makeable putt for Cat.
Sarah with the long birdie look.
And Henna still with work to do.
Oh, gives it a good bid.
And clearly with Cat having a sizable lead, we'll have to see if she's at all concerned about, well, the likes of Kristin Tattar. What a great birdie to open. Immediately, even with that par, Cat's lead will be trimmed from 6 down to 5.
Henna starting off with a triple. Hopefully she can get some birdies to catch herself back up. Hole 2, par 4. This starts slightly uphill. You're really just trying to keep the disc straight through these trees and land right about here, halfway through, and then a straight shot to the basket. We did see Owen take the wider hyzer. You do have OB on the left, which is the parking lot, as well as the OB on the right, which is about a couple feet off of the fence that you see back there. This is uphill, so you do see a lot of players opting for that high turnover. You don't really want to flex too far left or you'll get caught up behind the building and not have a good look at the basket.
See a light left to right wind here.
A little tight for Catrina. She does get caught up into the trees. It's a bit high, but still works its way through, gets some distance. Great shot by Henna.
Hole 2 is a great opportunity for Henna to bounce back after that triple bogey. Hole 2 plays as the third easiest hole on the course, averaging 3.92. Plenty of birdies here.
And Catrina tries to go wide and looks like she pulled it just a little bit and it flipped up too much into the out of bounds.
And many years ago, we just played as the fence itself was out of bounds. You had to get over to the other side of the fence, and far too many players, I felt like, were getting aggressive and throwing shots wherever and almost playing it off the fence or having no regard for any right side OB. And now you can see all those rocks along the ground and a white line in front of it. That actually is your OB line. So a little extra challenge here for our competitors. Henna with a backhand standstill with her back to the basket.
That's quite a bit of distance to get from a standstill. She executed that very well.
We saw that so much of that in the last couple of rounds, how often she just really stands there and delivers her shot, and it feels like she has no shortage of power in doing so. But that time her back was to the basket, and she still gives herself a look. Now here's Catrina. Tried to get up and down and save a bogey at this point, or almost putting it in and saving the par, but she'll have that short putt left for bogey.
Almost. Not quite high enough. Great putt by Henna to get a stroke back.
Yeah, when you look at a scorecard and you see 6-3 in the first 2 holes, you would almost think those were reversed. So much more likely to see someone go 3 and then 6 due to the par 4. But see if Henna can get things going. And just like that, Catrina Allen giving up with an over par stroke. She's going to be giving that up to Kristin, who comes in with the par. And the lead that was 6 now is 4. If you don't mind, Christine, I'm going to keep busting out some big math stats for you like those. That's how I do it as we move over to hole 3, which comes after 2.
Hole 3. This is a newer hole. It's old hole 3 and 4 that is combined to make one longer hole. 841 feet. We are flying over hazard, so the rock-lined tall grass area would be hazard. The Players are trying to just keep it inbounds off the tee, and the second shot is going to come through this tunnel. There is a Mando on the right-hand side, and then coming into this tree area where the green is. This is a very tricky green. You can, you see a lot of forehands or backhand turnovers coming in, and a lot of players catch early and get swallowed by those trees.
I'm not trying to jinx anything, but I think we've now seen 12, carry the one, 13 drives on this hole, and I don't think we've seen anyone find any kind of OB or hazard. It's been so impressive.
You're just trying to flex your math skills.
Yeah, that time I wasn't. As you, Kristin, also safe. Yeah, I just know when I arrived at the Winthrop Arena, I very much thought, okay, this is right in the landing zone. This is where people are often going to be, finding themselves. And it appears that everyone's stayed pretty safe of it for the most part, and that's going to check up. Okay. $15 for 15. Come on, Cat.
Oh, it's drifting a little bit.
She wants to hook up for her at the end. And not quite a great position, but safe. So
15 out of 15 is 100%.
Thank you, thank you. And in fact, it even went to 16 out of 16. All 4 rounds, I believe every competitor we saw on coverage kept it safe. It's truly impressive. I would have bet against that at the beginning of the week.
Oh, and Sarah coming up just short of the Mando. She would have ideally liked that to hold that straight line. She'll have a little bit of a tricky look for her next shot.
I'm putting a little flex on this. I like it.
Oh, and she flares past the Mando. That was a great forehand by Kristin.
Not in a great position to possibly attack for eagle, but that should be an easy up and down for the birdie. Remember, our FPO competitors play the same tee and pin on this particular hole, but for them, it is a par 5. And if you're watching the USDGC counterpart, you'll see this played as a par 4.
Henna with a high turnover, pushing the ceiling. It does get through. We'll see if those trees are in her line.
That checks up in great position for Cat. This does come in as the 13th most difficult hole on the course and averaged 5.03. So pretty close to par.
Just catching the early trees before the green, but she'll still have a look inside the circle. You see this awkward stance that Sarah has to deal with this Mando. It's almost no way to get to the basket from here.
Yeah, not at least with this stance. The only other opportunity, if she really wanted to be aggressive, would be some kind of a cut roller of sorts. And she's not messing with that, which I can understand. A cut roller or any kind of roller toward this green can put you in a lot of trouble. Just not necessarily worth it. She'll have a little easy forehand pitch.
Beautiful.
You see some of the wind coming down the tunnel there.
Kristin going a little inside, and it does take significant speed off of that disc.
And after 2 perfect drives, really surprised to see her make that unforced error. She had plenty of room.
Solid putt by Catrina. We've been seeing her great putting displayed all weekend long.
So Henna's birdie look just a bit short. Kristin answers with a birdie of her own. And for the first time in the first 3 holes, she will not pick up a stroke on Catrina, but clearly off to a great start. 2 under in the first 3. And of all 3 of the rounds that we've seen previously, this is Catrina's slowest start, being just even through the first 3. So you have to be thinking about momentum, what they've relied on, what they've seen over the last couple of days. And we'll take a look at the scores after the first 3 holes. Henna, as you saw, is 2 over. Even or right around there seems to be the norm unless your name's Kristin Tattar. And she's going to need every bit of it today because she's trying to hunt down Catrina. She made a massive jump in the last couple of rounds, but see if she can finish it off as they head to 4.
Par 3 at 249 feet. Although a relatively short hole, there is a Mando about halfway up the fairway off to the left, and so you see a lot of players trying to go for a little backhand flip up or some sort of dead straight shot. It's much more difficult than it seems. And the right side is, I would say, the least favorable position that you want to be in. If you throw something straight and it hyzers out to the left, it's pretty wide open, but the right side does have some trees and low foliage in the way.
That is of the more favorable kicks you can get out into the opening, as you just described. And that kicked way out to the right side. We've seen Sarah Hokom really struggle also pushing it up on that right side or hitting a late tree, kicking her right. And today, right is wrong.
Yeah, especially for her, that forehand. Anytime you kick a tree, it's going to want to naturally go to the right-hand side.
And manages to find the gap.
Did she show Sarah the way?
Well, Sarah's has struggled every day with this particular hole, including that shot. But today, she seems to have it figured out. She's inside the bullseye. And this is going to be a gentle pitch. Kristin, who's looking to pick up a par.
Great putt by Henna.
Solid par recovery from where she was.
That was a lot of work for 249 feet.
It certainly was. And Kat is ultimately going to get up and down from where she was. That's for her par. Sarah, very consistent here today. 4 pars to open the round. They take the walk over to the par 5, hole 5.
794 feet with the OB water on the left as well as the OB road on the right. The hole slopes slightly from right to left, so backhand is pretty tricky. You'll see a lot of players just trying to throw a farther turnover to prevent the flex to the left-hand side. On the third shot after you work your way up the fairway, you're trying to get around the tree grouping that we just flew past and hopefully just get yourself as close to the basket as you can. It is only about 15 feet off of the water. Very tricky basket placement. And a forehand is a great play off of the tee if you have it. She finds herself a foot behind one of those small trees. Those really get in your way sometimes.
As that will fade back, it'll be perfectly safe for Kat. Great positioning.
And going high again.
This is going to start fading, but it's going to do so slowly enough that it checks up before the water. And what a smash by Henna. And speaking of which, Just a few hours after this, she'll be in the distance showcase. Both her and Ella Hansen, Heidelaine will also be present and trying to throw over the water from way back in 18's fairway. And this is exactly where they'd love to land as they're throwing from 18, which is at about a 3 o'clock position to where Sarah Hokom is right now over the water.
Catrina going for the high hyzer at the trees to fade away from them. It looks like she caught a little bit of a skip or a slip, and fortunately stays in the middle of the fairway.
Yeah, not too punishing, but definitely things could have gotten squirrely there. She was heading toward the OB on the right side. Now, that tree, not too much of a problem there for Kristin. More of a light annoyance possibly, but in great position there. And she's really trying to push it as far as she can. She wants to get all the way around the corner, and that's exactly what she's done. Anything short of that leaves you a blind look to the basket, but with all the power that she had there, able to get clear. And here's Sarah Hokom taking the shortcut over.
All right.
I'd go as far as saying I firmly believe Henna could have gone over the water and found the inbounds area as well. She just had such a crush on that first shot.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, but I could see why she would go the safe route.
Yeah, and her play worked out perfectly as well, but I just really wanted to see her throw over the water in two.
Yeah, same.
And here's what I meant by not getting far enough. You're throwing a blind third shot, as we're seeing by Kristin. Smart plays just to hang it out way out to the right side. Be able to pitch over, walk away with a par. Henna, though, in great position.
And this is still so tricky because the farther you have to throw, the more spin you have to put on the disc, and the more spin you have coming in hot, you know, catch and roll into the water.
Every single competitor in the entire FPO division would tell you they would love to have the spot that we just saw Henna throw from her for her third. Just perfect as Cat lays up right next to the pin. Kristin can give this a little bit of a run if she wants, but that water's edge is pretty close.
What a great birdie. I don't think there's a lot of birdies to be had on this hole from the FPO field. Like, many players are happy with a par.
I guess. She was in good position, but I don't know how far it was. Like 450? Yeah, I think. Yeah.
It sounds like having the same conversation I was just thinking about. And yeah, played as the third most difficult hole, and only about 6 birdies today.
Wow. Hole 6, par 3, 282 feet. You do have the water OB on the left. There is some OB on the right, but it doesn't really come into play until it starts pinching off towards the basket. So if you go too deep right around the fence back there, that is also out of bounds. Really just trying to throw a wide swooping hyzer into the beach, maybe playing a little skip shot off of the grass a few feet short of the beach. This is looking great. Good angle, good height. Ooh. Almost too deep. That'd be a very scary putt for Henna for her birdie.
Won't complain with that result. Gives her a look.
Looks like some wind is coming back into play, and it almost looks like tailwind. Oh.
And I was just thinking that Kat's probably looking for redemption. She threw errant shot to open this hole during round number 3. Then threw a pretty good second shot, but it was really her third shot that was punishing as it hit off the basket and went in the water. And today, she's going to have a tap-in birdie. Sarah in position.
No big deal.
Henna just going for the smart layup shot. Sarah gives it a little bid. And the basket's only about 15, 20 feet at most from the water's edge. So especially from the elevated position that they're at, if they miss the basket, it could easily go in the water.
Still shocking, though, to see Kristin not have a better bid here on 6.
Catrina with the tap-in birdie.
A 3-stroke improvement. Oh, yeah, come on. You can't leave. Karma will get you one way or another. Or the disc golf gods will come after you. You need the fist bump. And we take a look after 6 holes. Catrina has lost now just 1 stroke to Kristin. Has a 5-stroke advantage. And Haley King making a little bit of a move along with Missy Gannon. They sit 3 and 2 under respectively through the first 6 holes. We head over to 7.
284-foot par 3 with a triple mando. Really, besides this triple mando, there is some OB deep of the basket as well as the path on the right-hand side, but name of the game, just hit the triple mando. If you do miss the mando, there is 2 drop zones that you can select from, just short of the bamboo wall. Oh, Catrina pushing a hyzer flip. Doesn't quite flip up as much as she'd like. Henna's been going really wide hyzer. I think more for placement.
Yeah, not necessarily worried about penetrating through the gap, but just really setting herself up. Maybe a long look at the birdie, but worst case scenario, trying to get up and down and take the par. And this looks pretty good. Does it have the distance? It doesn't.
Oh.
And that's going to stop short and be an awkward putt. Being right-handed for your putting, you'd probably rather be on the left side as opposed to the right. If you're not going to be squared up with the gap, you'd rather be left than right. And short, but again, she'll have a better, easier stretch and a look than what we'll see from Kristin. Can play more of a hyzer to the basket.
Yep. Henna just had a longer version of what you were just mentioning.
Yeah, and Kristin really not even able to give us a putting stroke, so to speak, going with the forehand.
Yeah, really, the closer you get to the wall, the worse it gets.
Kat doesn't need to try anything crazy. She's sitting on a 5-stroke lead. Hokom lunges forward, but will likely add her 7th par of the round to her scorecard.
Great par save.
Every time she has a putter in her hands, I just assume it's going to go in, and maybe that's why I was so shocked back on 6. And not too much excitement here on the lead card for hole number 7, as we'll see 4 pars as it played as the 11th most difficult. Now we head to 8.
697-foot par 5. So the first shot, you'll see some players going the more straight route, or some players will swing a wide hyzer, really just trying to land right around here in the middle of the fairway. There is OB on the left-hand side. You can see the rocks lining that, as well as the ballpark on the right-hand side. The second shot's pretty tricky with the sloping fairway. You're just trying to push as far as you can, as clean as you can, and possibly have a long look at the basket for an eagle bid. But you also see some upshots coming in hot to the basket, and the slope will make the discs roll away. So pretty tricky hole. Catrina goes for the wide. Heiser has a good height. It's an optimal position.
No more than 10 or 15 feet from where she landed in the previous few rounds. Really having this drive all dialed in. And that is low and pushing to the left side. The question is, does it? Yeah, it does. It finds that hazard out of bounds area on the left side. Specifically out of bounds, not hazard. Great shot by Kristin.
And Sarah goes the inside route with a flip up forehand. As long as she misses that tree, it's in good position. Kristin getting great distance up the middle.
I was just thinking the only thing that would be a bonus is maybe if it rolled out or closer to the pin, and I think that's going to be a favorable roll overall. She may have a long look at eagle from there.
Sarah looking to execute a similar shot, and she does.
This two could get a little bit of a roll. This hole is playing as the second easiest hole on the course, so one they definitely want to pick up and take advantage of. Averaged 4.85. 38% of the field finding birdies.
Wow. Yeah, really, if you can get 2 clean shots up the fairway, you're left with a pretty routine putter approach to the basket.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything special to walk away with a birdie here. As you're saying, just a couple of routine basic drives will leave you with a medium range shot. So 4 feels like the score you should be getting every time.
Ooh.
Oh, as Henna almost throws it in for the eagle 3. Sarah asked for it to sit down on the slope, and it does. A long look. She can be aggressive with it. Oh, that's so frustrating, especially after the eagle bid that she had.
Oh my gosh.
Unbelievable.
Kat was surprised. She looked back at the disc.
And even look at the wind. It's barely moving the flag. And what a comeback putt.
Such composure.
Unreal. She's still going to walk away with the par. But that could have been a major momentum shift here in the tournament. She's going to have to, mentally get over it right away. She clearly reset herself and still got the par. And she's going to lose 1 stroke yet again here to Kristin. But it would have been very easy to lose concentration and then not make that comeback putt. So kudos as we head to 4.
A par 4, 362 feet. The basket sits on sort of a peninsula. You can see the rock wall lining the out of bounds area. There is some safe fairway off to the right hand side, so you'll see some players going that direction, laying up for the second shot and then tapping in a birdie. You'll see some players being more aggressive, but you do see the OB line that's only about 10 to 15 feet behind the basket. So if you push too far, you can easily go out of bounds. And if you leave it short, you'll be going to the drop zone. They took the spider webs off of the Christmas trees.
Great observation as we see that we see that Kristin comes up short and left. It seems as if she maybe just got the nose up a little too much. We know that Sarah Hokom's game plan is to go for this, and she's content if she has to go to the drop zone, and that's exactly where she's going to go. She'll still have basically a guaranteed par, possibly even a birdie look. And the struggles continue here for the card. This is the easiest hole on the course statistically. So crazy that we've now seen 3 out of bounds drives. See Henna, hers was pulled way off to the right yesterday, but this one's tracking right at the basket and lands it underneath.
As close as you can get.
What a shot. And the other 3 head to this drop zone, and Kristin looks like she's giving this a run. We saw Pierce hit from here. Oh, and Kristin almost rings it up. Hokom very conservative in her previous throws from here, and that's exactly what she is doing there. And you see not giving it a run as Kristin was, and Kat's not going to mess with the branch either or the tree. She's going to pitch it underneath and be content with the 4. And Kristin's in for the par. So Kristin with the 3 under is going to have picked up 2 strokes on Catrina through the front 9. Kat's lead is down to 4, and plenty of challenge awaits on the back half. So we'll see if anyone is making a charge otherwise. Owen Scoggins is off to a great start. She's 4 under through the front 9. Haley King also. Not sure it's going to be enough, but Haley King off to a great start on the front. Well, we've got the final 9 of the Women's Disc Golf Championship coming to you guys in just a few moments. For Christine Jennings, I'm Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy. We'll see you on the back.